Surprise, surprise. The Cardinals lose another one-score game where situational play calling seems to be an afterthought and not anything that they are competent in doing. The Arizona Cardinals have officially turned into a punk. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Cardinals, Week 13 instant reaction show. Wouldn't you think that after 13 weeks, 12 games, 7 of them would have been decided by one score, and the Cardinals have lost all of them outside of weeks 1 and 2. Isn't that kind of unbelievable? Isn't that kind of insane that maybe a ball would bounce this way, a ball would bounce that way, and the Cardinals wouldn't be the butt of jokes the last 7 games that were decided by one score? It's getting to the point of lunacy. It's getting to the point where the Arizona Cardinals figure out ways to lose games in ways that nobody expected possible when the game started. And then, let's look at the box score. Well, the Cardinals out-yardaged the Bucs by about 100. More passing yards by 100. Less penalty yards. Exact same time of possession. And the Cardinals lose. If you look at the majority of box scores this year for the Cardinals, outside of the blowout against Seattle, and then the week after the blowout against the 49ers, you would think the Cardinals are 9-2. 10-2. Like, it's crazy to me that this team continues to figure out how to lose games. It was the turnovers today. That was the big thing. One interception that was tipped in the air, a Bam Knight fumble, and that's how you lose games. The Cardinals offense was unable to keep this defense off the field enough early on to be able to have any sort of leverage in this game. When a team gives up 20 points on offense, and a couple of the scores were after a missed field goal, which was short yardage, pretty much, on a Chad Ryland missed 45-yard field goal, and the Cardinals offense not being able to execute on 4th down earlier in the game, it's like, what else can we say about this team? Normally it's what else can we say about this? Normally that's a positive. Oh, what more can I say about this guy? He's philanthropic. He's a great husband. He's a great dad. What more can I say? It's the opposite for this team. What more can you say about this team in one-score games without smoke coming out of my ears? The Kyler Murray thing potentially able to come back next week is fascinating. I just saw a comment on it. Well, we'll discuss that plenty during Locked On Cardinals this week. I promise you that. Because it's going to be fun. It's going to be fascinating. And then it'll probably end up being boring and, unimportant. But the Cardinals lose 20-17. They drop to 3-9. And you're kind of at a point now where it's like, yeah, okay. Like, this wasn't a game where the Cardinals, didn't show up. They played hard. The defense looked good. Will Johnson, I'll talk about the good in the next segment. But Will Johnson plus Garrett Williams on the same field is really good. It's really good. And I'll talk about that in the next segment. But it's fascinating to see the stark contrast with Will Johnson and or Garrett Williams off the field and when both of them are on the field. Jacoby Brissett, again, played fine. Efficient. This isn't on him, man. The offensive line only gave him 2 sacks, which is, a huge uptick. But they were early, and Jacoby Brissett was still running for his life for, a good chunk of time. And then, listen, the play calling was okay throughout the game, but down the stretch, it's like there's taking what the defense gives to you in situations like that where you've got to march pretty much the whole field, kick a field goal, and just dumping it down with players who really have no chance to get out of bounds when you only have one timeout. Cardinals couldn't amass 1 first down on that last drive. Everything seemed rushed and slow at the same time. Like when you're sick and you feel hot and cold at the same time? Everything was rushed and slow at the same time, which is never a recipe for success. This, I'm going to read a comment here. That one the one got Aries. Think they keep the lead and win if Jacoby hits Marv on the TD where Marv had the defender beat. I mean, maybe, but conventional wisdom and empirical evidence would lend you to think otherwise. Like, I'm not this doomsday guy where it's like, oh, the Cardinals are 100% going to lose every time they play. I'm looking at the last 6, now 7 one-score games, and they've lost all of them. So, yeah, you can point to coaching. Yeah, you can point to players. I think it's everything at this point. There is just Nickelodeon green goo everywhere on this team. Like, the problem is, and again, I promise there was some good today. I promise there was some good. And it's long-lasting good. It's that. But by and large, they just don't know how to win. And I don't mean to be like magnanimous, like, oh, look it, that's so profound. It's obvious. They don't know how to win games. And when you talk about not knowing how to win games, traditionally, and I would back this up, you would lend that to coaching. You would lean towards coaching because great coaches figure out how to win games you have no business winning. You have no business winning. When it's a one-score game, like, for the most part, one-score games, winning more than you lose determines on if you're going to make the playoffs or not. Sure, there's frequency, there's type of one-score games, like maybe you score with 10 seconds left, and that brings it to a one-score game. But competitive games from start to finish, which is what the majority of Cardinals games have been this year, truly. The majority of them have been back and forth. Like even Indy and Green Bay before the bye, the majority of these games have been back and forth. Seattle, week 4, they were down a bunch and they came back and tied it with, under a minute left. These games have been back and forth, and the Cardinals have lost every single one of them outside of the first 2 weeks. That can't be by accident, and it can't be just the players. Obviously, it's not just the coaches. Sure, Kyler Murray's not like you've got your backup quarterback, you got backup offensive linemen today. The secondary's been hurt all year. Mac Wilson's been hurt. They have no run game. Bam Knight played pretty well today. But it's like, it's the infectious nature of not knowing how to win games close that could lead to termination of coaches. And for those that say, oh yeah, get rid of Drew Petzing. Okay, like we can have that conversation for sure. I understand. Again, empirical evidence. I get it. Jonathan Gannon. If they don't win another game this year and they're close pretty much every game in some form or fashion, that may expedite that process too. I don't know. There's still so many games left to play and so many things that could go wrong that could strengthen the point of just get rid of everybody. You got to start over. I don't know yet. We're putting a pin in it. I promise I will talk about the good next. Locked on Cardinals. Instant Reaction, Week 13. This episode of Locked on Cardinals Instant Reaction Show is brought to you by the Game Time app. The World Cup is coming back to North America for the first time since 1994. And with 48 teams for the first team ever, it's going to be massive. But let's be honest, getting tickets is usually the hardest part, and that's why the Game Time app is clutch, finally giving fans a real-life advantage when it comes to snagging tickets. With Game Time, you could track price drops in real time, get alerts when great seats open, and buy tickets the moment they hit the app. It puts the power back in your hands and makes going to see the World Cup realistic instead of impossible. Take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets and every match, concert, or event with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Again, terms do apply. Again, download the app, make an account. Use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Today's episode is also brought to you by Prize Picks. The holiday season is one of the best times for sports, bowl games, big basketball matchups, playoff push. You know the drill. This is the Shangri-La of sports time, and it all happens at once. And while you're all making choices every day, one of the most fun places to make the right call is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the easiest way to get in on daily fantasy. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player projections. Lock in your lineup, and you're in the game. It's simple, fast, and available in 45 states. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Forgive that overlay that I used for a different sponsor, shall we? The good, okay? Oh, well, Trey McBride's good at football, okay? You could tell today that the game plan from Todd Bowles was to make them run the ball, which astutely so. They were still able to throw the ball pretty effectively. They obviously were getting Marv involved early and often. He ended up with 6 for 69, looked a little hobbled with his foot, ran on and off hobbled, but Trey McBride 8 for 82 and a touchdown, consistent as gravity. Michael Wilson took a step back, 3 for 36. This is going to be the fascinating thing. Is this offense equipped to have 3 receivers? And I include Trey McBride in there. Is it equipped? Do they use enough of the position group to be able to execute at a high level? Or is this going to be the straw that breaks the Drew Petzing camelback? Every offense has room for more than 1 or 2 playmakers regarding pass catchers, and the Cardinals just seemingly don't. They just seemingly don't. And this may be the biggest indictment on Drew Petzing today. Like, I understand that Drew Petzing most likely will and should be gone, okay? But I'm holding out to see if they can, manufacture a Michael Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Trey McBride passing offense. Because Michael Wilson obviously showed that he's capable. Marvin showed for the most part that he's capable, and Trey McBride is all world. So if you can't figure that out with those 3 players, you got to find another pass. You got to find another offensive coordinator. And I know, listen, I get it. There's so many reasons why you can move off for Drew Petzing. I'm not like championing him coming back, but the rest of the year is going to be a huge indictment one way or the other. And if this is offense is worth it, or if you're going to have to completely scrap it and bring in somebody who can, throw the ball regardless of his quarterback next year. I think what we've seen today, and since he's taken over for the most part, is that Jacoby Brissett is well equipped to run this offense when given time and actually have some sort of semblance of a run game. I mean, it's not incredible, but they ran the ball for almost 100 yards, which is a huge jump from weeks past. Jacoby Brissett, 29 of 40, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the tip pick. Like, it could be so much worse. Bam Knight looked pretty good. He had 11 for 62, and then 3 for 36 and a touchdown through the air. Like, he was fine. The Cardinals should have won this game. The defense played well enough for the Cardinals to win this game. Bucky Irving caught a seam, up the A-gap, scored a touchdown pretty much untouched. That ended up being the final touchdown score, or the final touchdown for Buccaneers score for the game. I don't know, man. This just feels exactly the same as it's felt the last several weeks outside of the 2 blowouts. I don't think anybody's getting fired. I think they're going to ride this to the finish line. There's no point in firing anybody right now to send a message. Come on. What's it going to do? Well, it's going to show that they're serious. Obviously, this team is not serious right now. This team cannot win football games. And they've been in 10 out of the 12 games this year. They've had a shot to win. And not a shot like, they lost by 6. Would have been close. Bingo, bango, bungo. They had a chance with the ball to win these football games. And they were unable to win any of them outside of the weeks 1 and 2. Like, I don't know how you can't look into the future and be like, well, if a couple of things change, this is a winning team right away. You need to shore up the offensive line. You need a running back that's not hurt, who isn't their 5th-string running back. And, you need your defense to be healthy. It's so difficult. It's so difficult not to look at the injuries and say, well, if they were healthy for even 50% more of the year, this win-loss record would be drastically different. It's very difficult for me as somebody who doesn't blame or doesn't use injuries as an excuse to not look at that at this point as to what could have been. Either way, Cardinals lose. Yuck. Immediately following this, which is in less than 30 seconds, I'll be going live with the Cardinal Squad Show, Jamil Douglas, Ben Garcia, and myself for a full hour. Join us over there. Quite literally, all you'll have to do is go back to Locked On Arizona Cardinals, the YouTube channel, and just see the new link. We'll be there in less than 5 minutes. Remember, without you, there is no me. I will give you my full rundown on the full show tomorrow.